Okay, Merry Christmas. This is part two of the Allen Belt Christmas special. And it is so called the Christmas special because these are Christmas presents from my cousin Amy. So, once again, thank you, Amy, for the wonderful Christmas presents. I really appreciated them. And I'm really happy. And you can see I'm already getting some use out of them because I'm making these videos. So, if you're watching, I hope you're having a Merry Christmas or had a Merry Christmas, depending on when you get around to watching this. So yeah, this is another of the vintage card Fantastic Four figures. I'm not going to talk too much about the packaging this time because it's pretty much the same packaging as Mr. Fantastic, only it's for the Invisible Woman. But we'll go ahead and read the brief line about her bio on here. After receiving superpowers, Sue Storm Richards co-founds the Fantastic Four and emerges as the single most powerful member of the group. Yeah, I believe that was during the John Byrne run that he was the one who realized her potential and really made her kind of badass. Like, she was originally kind of written as like a wilting flower kind of character almost, and Byrne was the one who made her a much more formidable presence. So he deserves some credit for that. Again, this seems to be a darker uniform than what you see on the packaging art. You know, the one down at the bottom looks about close, but you know the one at the top is more sort of like the turquoise, like it was on the first season of the cartoon. But the figure itself more represents, I feel like, how Sue appeared on the second season of the cartoon when Larry Houston took over. And there's actually a piece of tape on the bottom of this one. There was not one at the bottom of Mr. Fantastic. So I'm just going to slice that tape. There we go. And hopefully now this should open a little easier. Oh no, it tore a little bit there. That means this one won't display as well as Mr. Fantastic if I put her back in the package. But that's okay. I usually like to keep my stuff loose anyway. So here's her accessories. She's got two closed fist hands. There we go. So we'll go ahead and pull those out. And this is the white and blue uniform that they wore for most of the 80s and 90s. That was designed by John Byrne, but of course, originally he designed it to be black and white, but you know how comic book artwork is, and eventually all the blue winds up kind of encroaching onto the black. It's the same thing that happened with Batman's uniform. Besides, I kind of think, like, you know, a blue uniform is what the Fantastic Four traditionally wore for so long anyway. People tend to think of them as still wearing that blue uniform. So, sorry, Mr. Byrne, that people are changing the color of your costumes, but they like them in the blue. And I'll put her together with Mr. Fantastic, and they look pretty good together. This seems to be the standard Marvel Legends female body. That's what it looks like to me. Which, if you're like me and you have a lot of Marvel Legends figures, you're pretty familiar with. But that's all it really needs to be. It's just like she's a basic spandex costume, so it doesn't need anything fancy. It doesn't need any extra molding to it. And you can get some pretty good Invisible Woman kind of poses out of her, like she's making force fields and stuff. And then the other accessory she comes with is actually a force field. And it looks like you just plug her fingers into this. That's what she said. And, sorry, I've been watching The Office a lot lately. And then you can give her a force field. So that's kind of cool. I really like the coloring of these figures. You know, obviously it's got the white collar, gloves, boots, and belt, like the Fantastic Four uniforms had from the 80s to about the mid-90s, I think. And it's a nice deep blue. Like I said, it's a pretty similar coloration to how the original Toy Biz figures were done. Not the ones from the animated line, because those are more turquoise, but from the first one they did, the Marvel Superheroes line that they did of Fantastic Four in the early 90s. So it looks a lot like those. And I've got a lot of nostalgia for those, so I'm pretty happy about that. Now, I should note that this head sculpt was a source of some controversy, and a lot of the fans were complaining about it. And I will say that on its own, I don't think it's actually that bad of a head sculpt. I think that it would probably be improved if instead of having, like, it looks like they tried to give her some kind of expression. Like, if instead of giving her an expression, they had of instead, just give her more of a neutral expression, I think people probably would have been a little more forgiving of it. It doesn't look much like the head sculpts that they had for the previous two Invisible Girl figures from Marvel Legends. I don't think she looks like a different person. She looks a little bit like Renee Zellweger, I think, but it's not a bad head sculpt. The beauty of Marvel Legends, though, is if you don't like this head sculpt, it should just pop right off, and then you can pop on whatever head sculpt you want to put on there. So if you want to put, like, the earlier Invisible Woman head sculpts on there, you could put those on there, or, find some other kind of head sculpt that you like. Maybe like that blonde Black Widow from Endgame. If you don't mind her looking like Scarlett Johansson, maybe like an Emma Frost or something like that. But there are lots of different options for putting a new head onto this figure if you don't like this one. Frankly, I don't really have a problem with this one. I think it's okay. Like I said, I think it would be better if they'd have gone for more of a neutral expression. But I think maybe they were going for, like, kind of a look of grim determination, but she looks kind of confused. She maybe looks a little bit like Taylor Swift, too. I don't know. Maybe she could break up with Mr. Fantastic and write a song about it. So, I don't know. Whatever. I think it's a decent enough head sculpt. I think people were probably just making a mountain out of a molehill. That's just me. But like I said, if you don't like it, it's pretty easy fix. Just find another blonde female head that you like and pop that one on there instead. Done. Solved. So, got a lot of good articulation. No surprise to this Marvel Legends. Arm goes up and down all the way around. Turns this way. Looks like she's got a backpack peg in her back. So, I don't know. I think it's too big for a G.I. Joe backpack, but whatever. Cat! Would you stop doing that? I'm trying to make a video here. She's all knocking into my table and everything. I'll pet you in a little bit. So, yeah. But that's pretty much it for this episode. I do think they look really good together. It's nice to have the Fantastic Four all in the same uniform and everything. I was able to get the Walgreens Invisible Girl a few years back, but I was not able to get Mr. Fantastic. So I do not have a Walgreens Mr. Fantastic to go with my Invisible Girl, unfortunately. Invisible Woman, excuse me. I have an older version of the Thing that I stand with those figures, and I actually have the movie version of the Human Torch when Chris Evans played him, but he's all orange flame, so it looks fine. He doesn't have to be in the same uniform, and neither does the Thing. But I really like having at least Reed and Sue in the correct uniforms, like the matching uniforms. It doesn't necessarily have to be this one. It could be like the Silver Age one, or even one of the later ones. I don't really mind so much a lot of those later ones, but this is a good uniform, and I'm glad to have them both in this one. So that makes me happy. All right, so that's pretty much it for this episode. I've got at least one more on the way. Maybe Amazon will bring the Human Torch to me later in the day, before I have to go to work, hopefully. But if not, I'm at least going to have Mr. Benjamin J. Grimm, the Thing himself. So that's going to be the next episode. If you enjoyed this one, please like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff below. Don't miss the third part of the Allen Belt Christmas special, where I will be unboxing the Thing. Make sure you leave likes and comments down below if you enjoyed this video, and let me know what you think of these figures, and what are some of your favorite Fantastic Four action figures. And hey, look, here he is. He's up next. So it's going to be a 3-parter, at least, maybe a 4-parter, who knows. There will definitely be a 4th part. I will definitely, at some point, get the Human Torch. But for right now, I just have the first three. So that's it. We'll talk to you next time. Bye.